See a problem as an opportunity. Entrepreneurs only do one thing. They solve problems. Seeing a problem as an opportunity and taking action is difficult. And if you do it under the school roof, it's really hard. Shut up, sit down, listen to what I have to say, tell me what I want to hear. I was a good girl, I was a good boy. Where's my job? I just wish you would stop talking. I want to get on my project today. This is my time. That's the best answer I want to hear.
Welcome to Maximus Odyssey.
Hi, Tom. Good energy. Alrighty. Hello, Explorer, and welcome again to the Maximus Odyssey. I am here today with the one and only amazing Don Wettrick, a super inspiring teacher turned entrepreneur turned leader of change in the world of education, which I'm extremely passionate about. Don, welcome.
Thanks for, I just reached out on LinkedIn. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in town for a couple of days, and here we are.
Here we are. We actually met with Don
5 years ago, almost to the day. Yeah.
In New York City.
Atlantic Records.
At Atlantic Records. Yeah, it was my first big event in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of became homeless for a day or two, right before it. But I decided to put my stuff in a locker, get some cheap hostel, and found your event on Eventbrite and was like, oh, something for young entrepreneurs.
Crazy.
That looks amazing.
I didn't know that part. That's cool.
Yeah, first event, went right in, met so many amazing people I'm friends with till this day.
That's so cool.
Yeah, super inspired by you, by the guests that were there.
Thanks.
And actually, another fun fact, right after during the event, I found out that Gary Vee has his shoe signing event the morning after, which I was recommended by, some guys just getting drinks in the corner. Yeah, the day after I met Gary Vee, got him to sign the shoes, asked him if I can do anything for him or his team, and ended up shadowing him in VaynerMedia for 20 hours.
Yeah.
And so many, this is just a snippet of the kind of magic that was created from the things that you do. So very grateful that
thank you for sharing with me. That's cool. Even the day after. So amazing.
Yeah. So here, what we like to do is explore health, wealth, happiness, how we can become better humans for ourselves, but also for our surroundings.
Yeah.
And you are working on one of the most important topics in the world. I would consider possibly the most important one. Education, raising the future generation, setting the direction of where all of the evolution will be led. Don, what's your story? What got you here?
Yeah, it's really funny because I still have this email. I got an email that said you got to watch this, and it was a TED Talk by Daniel Pink.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it, and in that TED Talk, what motivates people, they talked about Atlassian and Google, that they gave their employees 1 day a week that they could work on what they wanted to work on or explore what they wanted to explore. And I thought, why don't we have that as a class?
Yes.
So I was just naive enough to start that as an English, on a Friday kind of thing. And then later on, I wanted to start my own class. And I thought, I didn't know Dan was famous, and I was like, that guy that did the TED Talk, I should call him.
Yeah.
And luckily he answered the call. He did some Zoom call or Skype calls with us back then, and that endorsement from Dan then opened up a lot of windows and doors and everything else you can walk through, right? So we ended up calling it innovation and open source learning. The innovation part is that at first we were work on a skill that you don't teach in class. So if you're I've always wanted to learn financial planning or how to, do the stock market or investing or patch quilting or coding or whatever. If we didn't teach it in school and you wanted to do it, that was your hour and a half. Problem was we had to open source learn because 90% of the things that my students want to work on, I'm like, I want to learn how to code a game and put it on the iTunes store. I don't know how to do that. But we know so many people as teachers that I was like, all right, let's call on people. And little by little, our students started calling on A-list people. And then it got insane. And then, Gary and Seth Godin. Actually, the day before we met, we had all my students that went to New York with me all got a business consult from Seth Godin.
One of the most famous writers.
Yeah, it literally was internet marketing. And so But the thing the open source learning opened was relationships.
Yeah.
And it got us, the students and I, a different kind of network. And then it became entrepreneurial because in the
So,
most...
just to understand kind of the storyline correctly, you were born somewhere in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Where, Indiana?
Oh, yeah, it was Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, that's the one.
Yes.
Went kind of the traditional route, let's say, of becoming a high school teacher. I guess you were inspired by...
Well, I honestly,
teaching?
I kept doing weird things in my class. I mean, I taught an English class, but I also taught a documentary class. And actually, that was kind of the DNA because we would have nice cameras, and I'm like, go out and find a problem. And so that class already was unusual.
So you took an explorative approach,
right,
instead of like teaching according to the syllabus.
And no one knew what we were doing. Like when I first started I had an endorsement, but I had been out of videography long enough where I had to start learning again, Final Cut 10 or Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever. So we learned by doing is one of the approaches we had. And then when I watched that TED Talk, like I knew that there was a lot more than just filming and editing that my students wanted to do. And so I unleashed them. They started reaching out, and really Tim Ferriss was one of our big catalysts too, because I showed them a part of the chapter 4-hour work week where he challenged college students to, like, if you wanted to be mentored to talk to a mentor, who would it be? And even offered him $100, whoever could get back to their person. He said none of them even tried. So I showed them that. I'm like, they didn't even try. So my students started reaching out to people that, again, it got nuts really quick because most of them were entrepreneurial and most entrepreneurs didn't like school. So when they saw this class on how unusual it was, we were getting yeses just out of sheer curiosity because my students would like, hey, Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, I'm in a class called Innovation and Open Source Learning where we learn from really intelligent, successful people like you. And they're like, oh, why, thank you. And then we started, and again, there was some really well-timed things because right when I started this class, YouTube just started to grow. Yeah. So we're talking 2012, 2013, where you could start making a living at YouTube. So some of my students were reaching out to YouTubers. As a matter of fact, some of them were not even like Zach King is a guy, Final Cut King. He was still a junior at Biola University, and he was calling my class, and we were going over tips and tricks and stuff like that. But it was that kind of, we were reaching out to successful people, and then they saw themselves in my students. Some students like, I want to do what you do. I want to learn from you. And they're like, I only need a couple of hours of your time. Matter of fact, can you talk to the whole class? And that's how we got Zach or Tim Ferriss to call the class or whatever, because they were like, that's awesome. Yeah. And so they were talking to my students and us. So,
yeah, I remember like that's one of the ways I started as well, like either like meeting Gary or some other inspiring entrepreneurs over the world, is like just going out there, stepping out of the way, creating something unusual. Oftentimes it's actually enough to, break the cycle.
Well, the fact that you just showed the willingness to learn and grow. I mean, like, I have this feeling knowing Gary, when you're like, can I shadow? You didn't ask for an autograph. You asked to put yourself to work. Yeah. And that's all the difference in the world. And so when these students, and by the way, like, and I'm not being dismissive, but the students that had like really good grades they didn't sign up for my class. Because it wasn't like hey, what do I need to get an A to make you happy? It was my students that weren't as good academically in some cases, not all. Yeah. But they were like, I always remember this student named Matthew, and I was like going over some things, and I was like trying to be all inspirational. And he goes, I just wish you would stop talking. I want to get on my project today. This is my time. And I'm like, that's the best answer I want to hear. Wow. Because instead of being lectured to like a regular class, he's like, I was told this is my class. Shut up. And I was like, all right, I'm out. And so he went on and started working on his project. So yeah.
So do you feel like giving them the freedom to pursue their passion was what unlocked the potential?
Yeah, I think one of our big things, and there's really been two evolutions of this. It went from the class to then a statewide movement, and I'll get to that in a second. The first one was we moved from innovation to entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And to put it in a Seth Godin term, that was an idea to where you ship, right?
Yeah.
Innovation in education means clever. It's not innovative. You've thought of something clever. And so at first we were like, I did something clever. Can I have an A?
Mm-hmm.
But if you did something that was truly innovative and the world wanted it, who cares if you just turn it into me? That's an audience of one. That's stupid.
Yeah.
You should do this as an event or a service or a app or a product. That's entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when things started to change, is that, and really even YouTube, like I loved it because in the old times, if you turned in a mini doc or a mini documentary film and I graded it, okay, you turned it in, you did all that work for one teacher, it's dumb. If you turned it into YouTube, even if I said, oh, your angles are bad, your audio quality, if it's got 500,000 views or 1,000 views, you're like, I don't care if you think it sucks, my audience loves it. And isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Like if
Like
you
let the
work,
market decide, not the teacher.
and if you work your butt off, it's interpretive. I could look at it and say, well, I don't like your angles, your color correction or whatever. But if you found your audience and your niche, and I think that was the one, that was the first crossover.
Yeah.
Just moving from innovation to entrepreneurship. The second, and really this is when we started our foundation, we really started to grow. When we were trying to talk to other teachers and other schools that entrepreneurship is important, they sometimes think, oh, well, we don't do business classes. And I'm like, well, entrepreneurial mindsets are different.
Yeah.
And still the word entrepreneur, some people think that capitalism's bad or making money is somehow bad. I'm not going to get into that. But where I started saying was, see a problem as an opportunity. Entrepreneurs only do one thing. They solve problems. I'm bored. Netflix. Facebook. I don't want to go get my groceries. Amazon. Like every business, every entertainment, every service, every app solves some sort of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we kept looking at the fact that a lot of our students were sitting idly by, looking at Instagram and not doing anything, some people said that's a problem. Okay, what's the solution? Getting them out of that mindset, because our students are really great. Our adults are great at finding things in the world they don't like and posting it. I changed the profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you found something you don't like, changing your profile picture. Okay, forming a team, doing something about it, laying out a plan. These are the things we started to do. And when I started telling school administrators, I want to help students see a problem as an opportunity and take action, that I can get behind. Entrepreneurship? No, thank you. See a problem as an opportunity? Yes. And that was our big breakthrough.
Absolutely. So how would you say this mindset can be implemented for, well, basically anyone, right? Just
Yeah.
if you're working in a job or a student that does not have the opportunity to join such an amazing class, you still have so much free time.
Yeah,
if you focus on
it's still very hard because both education and the social media algorithms, complaining puts you up at the top.
Mm.
Saying that you're going to do something about it doesn't put you at the top. Matter of fact, sometimes it creates jealousy. Sometimes it creates, other criticism. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that want to do good,
Yeah.
and people get shot down. Well, who are you to do that? You're not that important. Seeing a problem as an opportunity and taking action is difficult. And if you do it under the school roof,
Yeah.
it's really hard. The mindset of school is, I'm going to listen to what you say and tell you back what you said to make you happy.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship has nothing to do with that. And it's very hard to break that culture.
That strikes right into my heart, honestly. I've gone through, in a way, 4 high schools.
Mm.
And kind of ended at 16. This top tier school was preparing me, Newport it's called here, preparing you, to go to Harvard, Stanford, and then actually super focused on getting people to the best schools and doing that thing, which can be a good route.
Yeah.
But still, through every one of these educational experiences, I was like, okay, but why?
Right.
And very rarely do you encounter a mentor or a teacher who not only, let's say, can answer the why, but kind of drives you towards
Mm-hmm.
exploring, towards finding your own way, towards
Yeah.
creating something actually meaningful out of the information that you're like sucking up like a sponge.
Well, and think about it. I mean, like I try not to be upset with teachers that don't point you to those things because they had 200 years
It's more
of
like a
being right.
system.
Shut up, sit down, listen to what I have to say, tell me what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That worked. Just
It
going
did.
to college meant you got a good job. And then somewhere in the late 90s, early 2000s, that started to shift. Now I feel so terrible for millennials. Gen Z is catching on.
Mm-hmm.
They're very much questioning things. They understand what certificates are, and maybe you don't need to go or rack up debt.
Oh, we are.
And I'm not being dismissive of all universities. There's some great programs out there.
Absolutely.
However, poor millennials got the rug pulled out underneath them because they're like, I did everything you said. I was a good girl. I was a good boy. I sat there. I took all my classes. Where's my job?
The
It's
world
tough.
changed quicker than education could adapt.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I've really had my eyes open here in Prague.
Yeah.
So I've spent quite a bit of time yesterday and the day before with two people that were from Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Oh.
Intelligent people, no opportunities. Then they come here and they like start over and they're like, oh, you're Ukrainian. It's hard. So this is why sometimes, like, the more I travel, the United States is the land of opportunity. It's everywhere. It's shocking how many things you can do there. Even in a city like Prague, there's all sorts of opportunities. My heart hurts when I think about things that are so locked down that even if you have the right mindset, it's tough. And I'm not trying to like go into politics on Russia and Ukraine, but like I know there's parts of the world that even if you have the right mindset, it's really difficult.
Yeah, very relatable. Like my family came here from Belarus, and it was essentially like.
You told Gary that, right?
Actually, I think that's the one thing I missed.
Oh,
from the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Or like from the day. Yeah, I was more just trying to get as much out of it and give as much as possible.
Yes.
But yeah, coming here from Belarus, where the regime is like, even if you go to protest silently, you are risking, ending up in jail for an uncertain amount of time or worse.
Yeah.
Just for like having a different opinion or wanting to stay your perspective of things.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
So yeah, very grateful that I was able to be born here.
Yeah.
Like a year after they came, and getting, let's say, some of the mindset and like all the routines that remain from like being scared of like generations of, I guess, like fear of authority or something like that. That is definitely like rooted into my family roots, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I've been able to break out pretty well in here, thanks to, like you said, YouTube, like so many amazing resources, especially in English.
Right.
And yeah, like New York was the like most steroid boosted version of opportunity I've ever seen.
But so what drove you to go out there? I mean, like, that wasn't cheap.
No. Well, I've always
like
wanted
that,
to.
Like, I know, but like, that's impressive. A lot of people want to do things, like, especially want to do things that are slightly expensive.
Yeah.
What put you over the top of like, you bought your ticket and I'm going?
Well, that's, I guess, the fun thing. Like, I went to New York at 17 years old, and I kind of discovered the world of marketing after being like burned out from school, or like that, the real burnout actually came when I returned from the US. That's a different story. But like I was, getting, let's say, depressed by school and like always doing this same thing again and again of like study, write the test, forget, and just all over, like wasting. I felt like I was wasting my life, right?
Yeah.
And so I was discovering what else I can do. That's actually what my TEDx talk was about. Like, start now.
Yeah.
So I changed the question from like, what am I going to do after all of this school? Instead to like, what can I try now?
Yeah.
And that like shifted everything. So I discovered marketing, went into that, got my first internships, job, etc. Made a bit of money, got into this like scholarship program in the US that was actually called GACO. Super interesting. Might be like a direction for you to explore as well. Also like exploring the world, but more from the like artsy perspective, and people from like Yale, Harvard, some movie sets and schools.
Yeah.
Just showing you and like high schoolers the world in a different light. So I got a good scholarship for that, like 95%. So I went almost for free to this thing, and decided to spend some more time in New York, just surviving. Some thriving, some barely surviving.
Sure.
But yeah, going out there was one of the most life-changing things that I could have done. I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, your senses must have been heightened every day as a journey and an adventure.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So,
but yeah, I
getting back maybe to
yes,
your direction.
Sure.
So like this exploration and instilling it in the youth and also in the leaders that are like organizing how the youth develops, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the perfect utopia.
Yeah.
That's, or like my dream, my vision, what I've been kind of solidifying over the years, that if I had all the money in the world and I could do anything, like allowing for, well, probably all people, but starting with the youth, to be brought up and in such a way that it's not just like do what you're told, but kind of pursue your passion, explore where it can lead you, and try like so many different things, so that at thing number 257, you discover that, oh wow, like this is really exciting to me. I can be really good at it. I can provide a lot of value to people around me. And, I would have never even discovered that, I don't know, like 3D printing, special tools for astronauts is a thing.
Right.
But after trying all these various other things, you got there. And kind of allowing every person to reach that area. And maybe it changes after a while, but, if everyone's working on their passion and doing, not being bored and procrastinating into other stuff, all the energy is flowing kind of through the main line. And that would make, everyone so much happier, more fulfilled. And I'm sure the outputs and results of the society as a whole would kind of reflect this energy. And I guess my question would be, I see you going in that direction and changing the world into something of that. How?
It's funny, one bite at a time. I mean, the evolution of this has been, I was in one school, and I wrote a book. The book did better than I thought, and then I started speaking in other places.
And the book was?
Pure Genius, Creating a Culture of Innovation. It's like 7 years old now.
On Amazon, I saw it.
On Amazon, yeah. And then I lucked my way into being, actually before the book, I was one of the really early for Google Glass.
Oh.
And then it was funny because even though I was already starting a speaking career, I got brought out to some places internationally that they weren't going to see Google Glass for a long time. So I went out to the Netherlands and did like 2 weeks of speaking. They didn't really want to listen to me. They wanted me to be like, okay, Glass. But I kept doing more things out of the country. And I kept seeing this thirst for innovation. They just didn't know where to begin. And then ironically enough, I came back. Then my state government was like, hey, what you've done for the school, let's do for the state. So they wanted me to run this thing called Innovate Within, which is our statewide innovation entrepreneurship competition.
Yeah.
That started growing.
Amazing.
And then we started a teacher fellowship, because every time we noticed that some schools were doing great at this, it wasn't the school, it was a teacher. And that a teacher started to infect in a positive way the other teachers.
You need your champion.
So we all of a sudden realized that we should give them incentives, maybe try to give them a bump in pay, give them all access to their city, county council, mayor, chamber of commerce, whatever, because we wanted to celebritize great teachers. And then our state finalists kept doing so well that our governor was like, where are they going? And really a lot of them were staying in state, especially at universities like Purdue and Indiana University. And so he was like, where are they going after graduation? We're like, I don't know. This is year 3. So we started a fellowship, basically a fellowship and alumni association, that if you were a regional finalist or a state finalist, we wanted to stay in contact with you, whether that was introductions to new people, whether that was networking events, and that was travel. Fun story. We had a soft invite to the UN in Geneva, and one of the governor's persons was eavesdropping, and he heard that and he goes, you should go to Italy. Indiana, especially Indianapolis, is known for the motor racing, the Indianapolis 500. And there's this company called Dallara that they're like the innovation experts of what is called the Italian Motor Valley. So Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani, Bugatti, all these cars that end in I, right? And so they met with us and they're like, yes, we want some of your teachers and students to come out to the Italian Motor Valley. Because like their main headquarters is in Verano, Italy. Their second headquarters is in Indianapolis, and they wanted this innovation pipeline.
Yeah.
And then that opened up things, and that's honestly why I'm here. We started we put out to the world of we're on an innovation tour, and I met with some people through really this great group called the Aspen Institute. I met a university president in Romania, and he's like, we need this.
Great organization.
Through another great contact, I met the Lubkowitz family, who over my left shoulder is their castle. It's kind of crazy, but they were the former royal family of the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia back then. And just little by little, we kept finding people. And so actually, I'm going out to London after. So this trip was Italy with the students. Here, Prague.
Yeah.
Then I got to go to Budapest and really Galati, Romania, and then over to London, and then go home. And all of them are interested in seeing how we can do this innovation tour, how we can get some students from, honestly, as many countries as we can, to focus on problems, see them as opportunities, maybe have some. We can't get together all the time. Maybe there's some online projects. Maybe we can do some problem solving online between some of these students and some of these schools. And so really, I'm out here developing relationships. In some cases, people are ready to sign and say, yes, let's do this in a year or 6 months.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they're just starting to get to know us.
So in case someone gets inspired by this and wants to join or support your cause, how would that be possible?
Yes.
So like me, for example.
Yeah. So so it looks like startup with Ed in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So actually, we even have it all caps, startup with ED and the small caps. Started Up, and we're the Started Up Foundation.
Yeah.
Although, as fate would have it, I started this as a company, and later on, through the competition and programming, they asked us to start a nonprofit. So technically, the intellectual property belongs to the for-profit. These kind of events to where we get students to travel internationally is the foundation. So startedupfoundation.org. I'm more active on LinkedIn. You know that. That's how we keep talking. I'm going to try to dust off my podcast again. That was going really great for about 5 or 6 years, and I wish I had more time, but
I feel you.
Yeah.
I'm finally kind of putting some real consistent effort into this one.
It's awesome.
So fingers crossed that we're continuing on.
Yes. One more thing I want to tell people that are listening, especially if you have children, or even if you're a lifelong learner, I sometimes hesitate. There are a lot of internet gurus. If you just believe, if you just, and there's a lot of simple answers. So I don't want to sound too simplistic. But really and truly, the day that you can still acknowledge what is wrong. You can still acknowledge what pisses you off. But the decision you make of what would it look like if I wanted to change something, whether that's in your own home or school or town or region or nation, that is the first threshold. And then secondly, and if you're a parent especially, always praise your children on the effort. And if the outcome isn't there, it's a yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't work out. It didn't work out yet. Oh, I screwed it up. You haven't got there yet. Too many times we see failure as this A, B, C, D grade, when every entrepreneur in the world, no entrepreneur would ever take you seriously. Like, yeah, my first company, I made $5 million without making a mistake. Bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So encourage your students, your kids, encourage yourself to deliberately do trial and error. It's the biggest transformation in the world. That mindset.
Every mistake is a step forward.
Feedback is a gift.
Yeah. I love the quote, like falling on your face, still moving forward.
Absolutely.
And, when you get back up, you have learned so much.
Yeah. And I think people admire that.
Oh, yeah.
The armchair quarterback like the people that tell you out there that nothing can ever work and the world's against you and everything is terrible, that takes no effort. The person that's out there going, I'll try.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Hell yeah. I love this so much.
Yeah, man. I still can't believe the day after you came to the Atlantic Records event that you met Gary. That made my day. That made my day. Yeah. And honestly, that was even funny. You saw that on Eventbrite because it was at first it was just kind of for my students. And we're like, we had some pretty impressive panel.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, we might as well at least put it out there that we've got that instead of just some students, was that way, one of the managers at Atlantic Records, we had a guy on Gary's team. We had a GovTech CEO. Yeah, we had an impressive panel.
Yeah. Also Swish.
Yeah.
Right. That
yeah. Yes.
Kind of
Goswami. Yeah.
Quickly.
Man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, I knew none of them.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw entrepreneur, young something.
Yeah.
I was like, it's $5. Okay.
That's me.
Let's do it. And then like walking into this massive skyscraper.
Yeah.
That was just mind blown, seeing like videos of like the most famous female rapper.
Missy Elliott? This was 5 years ago.
No.
Was it
not Doja Cat, but the
Nicki Minaj?
Another one.
5 years ago.
Big checks, big butts, something like that.
I forget. But no, I too went into that building. But it's funny because one of the social media manager of Atlantic was on our panel, and he was one showing us around. So it was eye opening for our students, and I think it was my last takeaway. We kept meeting all these pretty impressive people. I'll never forget this. We were going around the table, and Seth Godin was giving them all feedback.
Yeah. And
there was this one student that went over his pitch, and Seth went, "Where are you from?" And he said this town in Indiana, which was small. And he goes, "You could make it here." And he's like, he's like, "You've got it. Your product isn't ready yet, but you could make it here." And I love to get the students out of their, and as much as I love my state, I just like for them to get out of their comfort zone. Like I'm walking around. I love being in new places, not speaking the language, trying to adapt.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite, most pivotal moments of a 17-year-old young man getting feedback from Seth Godin and getting that into his head. One of my favorite all-time moments from all those trips.
It's amazing.
And hopefully I get a feeling that next year's summit is going to be here.
Well, man, anything I can do to help set it
Absolutely.
up, it would be my greatest honor.
Cool.
Okay. Wow, this is just like packed with sauce, as Bruno Mars says, even better than juice. If you had to maybe pick out some golden nuggets, there have been many, but maybe something you haven't shared yet of what one can do to like just taking the first steps, maybe, towards creating something meaningful that can be actually exciting and bring value to themselves or to others.
Again, just look around. And by the way, when I say see a problem as an opportunity, I don't think it's as productive if you're mad. And you can still be bothered by something. I
take it out on other people.
Well, and I don't want to sound too internet guru-y, but perspective is a heck of a thing. And so I really do like to deep breathe in the morning and have a lot of feelings of gratitude. I've met some people here in the last couple of days that gave me perspectives that I've never considered. And like start off with, okay, I want to make this change here. But again, you don't have to be pissed.
Can be useful.
Yeah.
Emotions can be directed well, but they're,
Yeah.
good, what's it called? Good servant, bad master.
Right. Well, I even think that there's kind of like that 4 quadrants. I think somebody else has talked about this too. I one time like called it FFML. Instead of FML, there was FFML.
Uh-huh.
So FFML was fame, fortune, mission, and love.
Fame, fortune, mission, love.
Some people go about projects either for fame.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it dies out.
Yeah.
People go after fortune. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally think it dies out. There's some people that are on a mission. Something bad happened to them and they're on a mission. And then sometimes I think that mission might be a little bit like you're angry.
Mm.
And then there's love. I think that things that are born out of love last longer, motivates you longer.
Yeah.
Even if something is born out of a mission, if it's still born out of love, it lasts forever, in my opinion. Because fame is fleeting. And if you try to shove your fame down everybody's throat, we have seen people come and go. If you're not pursuing things out of compassion, people might like you temporarily and then they don't. If your fortune is made and everybody hates you, I don't think I am leading the richest life, but I drive a Toyota.
Mm-hmm.
But my children are healthy and my wife is beautiful. I am on a mission, but my mission is one of love. So that's my nugget. FFML.
Oh, yeah. Pursue the love.
Pursue love.
That's amazing. Yeah. Reminds me of these, let's say, developmental stories of the best fighters in the world, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What often gets them to the top in the first place is the anger, the kind of need, the mission of either like getting, to the top
Yeah.
of, as you said, like fame, fortune.
Yes.
But more like mission of, I'm the baddest motherfucker there is.
Right.
But then at some point, it no longer serves them when you are there.
Right.
Like the anger is more of a distraction than an actual tool that can help you.
Yes.
So you need to kind of switch it into, well, first loving yourself, then loving your work,
your craft,
your craft. Yeah.
Any band that has made it, and after a while, like, that was cool. Like, how the Rolling Stones must love what they do.
Hell yeah.
The fame's always been there. The fortune's always been there. They do it, I would assume, because they love it. So
yeah.
I
think like turn off social media, do some random things, and you might encounter just what you love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
It's been such a pleasure.
Follow this guy, and we'll be doing a video like this in probably a year from today. Let's try to make it happen.
Hell yeah. This has been Don Wettrick. Follow him on all over social media. Get his book. He has a great TED Talk. Yeah. And this has been Max Kozlov or Maximus Kozlov. You can find me on social media. Follow for more. And let's learn how to grow together.
Bye-bye.
See you in the next one.
Now, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. And please share this with your friends if you think this could help them.